It's day 28 of my Compose 31 Pieces of Music in 31 Days challenge. Hey, I left my coffee cup over here from a few days ago. It's like 5 days old. Dare me to drink it? No, not gonna do that. Hard to believe I've written music for 27 days straight. Different music. Yeah, sure, I've composed for 27 days in a row, I'm sure. But I was probably working on one piece. This is 27 different sounds. If you're watching day 28 and you've also watched all the others that came before it, do me a favor and toss something in the comments to the extent of, been watching since the beginning. I guess I better get started. This piece isn't going to write itself. Wow, it's 11:20. I don't know where the last 2 hours went. I have nothing to show for it, except that I put on a sweater. So I got a little something started, and my nose is running again. Sorry if I sound funny. My headache is coming back. I was sitting on the couch after I finished my lunch, and a very simple line popped into my head. I thought I knew the synthesizer that would make it sound good, and as soon as I put it in, it just sounded 80s. To, classic synthesizer throwback stuff. Then I remembered the Philip Glass Spitfire sample that I got a while back. They sampled his piano and did some stuff to it, and some of those sounds kind of changed the direction of it. And the more I worked on it, the more I felt like this might be a good cue to go into the short film I kind of hinted that I was interested in doing. Though considering I only have a few days left in the month and I've done no storyboarding or planning for that short film or, writing other than just a basic plot summary, I don't think that'll happen this month, but I do think I'll try to make it a priority for something soon-ish, especially since I already have one specific cue that I know will be in it, and then this. It may have just gotten a little more real. I think this will be the one that I go ahead and use for today's piece. So I'm going to kind of try to develop it into what I imagine the scene will end up being that I'll put this in, though I can't know for sure. And the timing and exact instrumentation and stuff will probably change a little bit in the final version. By the way, I want to apologize for how my voice sounds right now. Maybe you don't even care, maybe you don't notice, but I hear myself. And if this is what I sound like whenever my nose is stopped up, I'm sorry. Too bad this is the first day back from spring break when I planned to make a longer video where I talked more. You have to listen to this. Anyway, just a second ago I picked up the SK1 to play you the melody that I came up with, and I just picked the flute because it seemed appropriate. And meanwhile, on the piece, I had just kind of switched over the melody line to be played by a Mellotron flute, because I'd used that earlier in the month and I kind of liked the sound. And I was like, okay, Mellotron flute, Casio SK1 flute, what happens if they are put together? It's really hard hearing very subtle, dense chord clusters whenever loud cars and planes keep zipping by. So I may have finished just now. I'm in that I need to listen to it a few times stage. It's funny, it's a very minimal cue, but I think in writing the music, I've actually figured out more about the scene that I was writing it for. Like, basically have the plot sketched out for the whole scene, I think. My head's hurting pretty bad. Wonder if it's from staring at the screen all day. So I'm going to take a break away from the computer, maybe go take some ibuprofen, come back in a little bit, and see if this piece is done or not. Well, I never actually took the break. I pulled out the outline that I had for the short film and wanted to jot down some of the things that I'd thought of, and it launched me into a whole other spot where I started listening through and actually marking on the logic file what's happening at each moment. Not film scoring, I'm like writing to the music. As I was doing that, I thought of how this piece needs to end, which is with a complete change in feel. I think the way that this cue is going to end is just going to be like a teaser for what's happening next. I don't think it's going to full on go to the next whole scene, because I think there will be a cut here. So it's gonna build, and then just, well, I think it's done. I just listened through it a time or two. I'm not in love with some of the percussion samples I used, but it's almost 5 o'clock and I need to wrap it up for the day or else I'll miss my deadline. And since I'm 99.9999% sure that this will end up in the short film, assuming I ever actually make it, I know that I will end up making adjustments to this for the final product. So what I'm going to show you today is a rough draft, for sure. So yeah, whenever I woke up today, I had 2 ideas for things I wanted to work on. This is neither of those, but I'm glad to have done it. It kind of gives me a little bit more wind in my sails to pursue the film. But yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and call it a day. Let you hear it now. There's no name for this, just Act 2 of the film. I hope you enjoy it, and I'll see you tomorrow.